Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, three-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Kimberly Mathis. Kimberly is a native of Dallas, Texas, and a 1996 honors graduate of Skyline High School. After graduation, she went on to attend Texas A&M University on a full academic scholarship awarded through the prestigious Roger Alsbrook Foundation. At Texas A&M, she was a frequent affiliate of the Dean's List and a member of the Lions Co-Ed Cheer Squad. In 1998, she became a proud member of the prominent Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and earned third-place honors for Outstanding Undergraduate Chapter President in the South Central region. Kim graduated with a Bachelor's of Business Administration in the spring of 2000. Immediately following, she entered the workforce as a research analyst for electronic data systems in Plano, Texas, and served as an assistant marketing director for Comdex Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2001. Pulling on her corporate experience in business education, she became a member of the Women of Influence Incorporated Conference Executive Board and Sponsorship Committee Chairman. Later in 2003, she would launch her entrepreneur passions and became a franchise co-owner of Wings to Go. In 2006, she earned a Texas realtor's license before taking a position as an income tax professional and income tax specialist in Dallas, Texas. Kim has been a registered preparer with the Internal Revenue Service since 2006 and currently owns and operates her own income tax service, The Tax Lady. She also serves as vice president of the Kevin Mathis Foundation, a nonprofit charity foundation in 2004 that focuses on youth empowerment, building stronger communities, and providing support for families affected by drug addiction. Kim is a newly published author entitled Dope Girl. In Dope Girl, she candidly shares painful details of being born a drug-dependent infant to a mother with addiction to heroin and cocaine. She relives moments of growing up with a drug addict and gives riveting and emotionally charged first-hand eyewitness accounts to the perils of addiction, to include jaw-dropping details of seeing her mother get high as a young child, as well as watching the life of crime she led to support her deadly habit. Dope Girl not only awakens our senses to the mental illness of addiction while simultaneously pulling at our heartstrings, it also unveils the Herculean strength required to be the child of an addict and the overwhelming obstacles that children born in addiction automatically suffer. Kim is vulnerable when traveling through the past and takes you on a tear-jerking adventure of overcoming abandonment, lack of parental love, societal status, impoverished living conditions, and hopelessness before achieving both personal and professional success, plus mental freedom. She lives in Colleyville, Texas, and is married to her college sweetheart and former 10-year NFL defensive back, Kevin Mathis. They are the proud parents of 3 children, Kennedy, Caleb, and Cole. She enjoys interior design, traveling, writing, and a good book. She will pursue a Master's of Fine Arts degree in creative writing in the fall of 2019. Welcome to the table, the amazing Kimberly Mathis.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
You are welcome. It is an honor to be able to have you at the table, and I'm so honored and humbled to be able to interview you today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
You are welcome. So please walk us, Kim, through your entrepreneur journey, because your bio is amazing. So would you just walk us through your entrepreneur journey?
Yes. So my entrepreneurial journey started about 15 years ago in 2003. And I've had both success and failure along the way. Because I'm an entrepreneur is about betting on yourself, right, and taking risks.
Right.
So my first endeavor was a food chain that I co-owned called Wings to Go. And I was managing that store remotely during the fall months and in person in the spring and summer months. It wasn't the easiest, to say the least, because, I mean, as you know, the food industry is one of the hardest markets to tap into. So I kept it about 3 years before deciding that living half the year in another state and managing a restaurant wasn't the best, most productive formula. So soon after that, I took a position as an income tax professional at a firm in Dallas, Texas. I worked there for about 7 years, and then I decided to go out on my own once the management and the owner changed. I was very, very fortunate that I was able to keep most of my clients, and they followed me. And so I had sustained my own income tax service called the Tax Lady since 2013. Now, as an author, my focus is not really about money as much as it is to help people live in their truth and free themselves from hurtful or harmful situations.
I love it. Amazing story. And now we're going to talk about your amazing book. Congratulations on it, Dope Girl. So tell us about Dope Girl and walk us through it and how we can support you with your new book.
Oh, thank you so much. I am so excited about Dope Girl. I mean, ever since I was a little girl, I have always loved to write. And words were always a safe place for me, just always a safe haven. But Dope Girl is really more than just a drug story. It really is a marriage between reality, resilience, and redemption from the child of an addict. Because almost every encounter that we have with a person who suffers from addiction focuses primarily on their failed attempt to achieve sobriety or a typical life of crime to support their habit, and sometimes, in some positive cases, their reacclimation back into society and the monstrous task that they face of having to maintain a drug-free life. We almost never dissect what the family of an addict experiences. So I felt moved to write this book to offer a deep and personal look into how drug addiction has detrimental effects on the family members of addicts as well, particularly their children. It also does a successful job of shining a light on the mental illness of addiction and how we should treat it as such rather than criminalizing drug use. Trust me, your readers will enjoy it because it crystallizes the fact that we all go through something in life that seems to paralyze us in some way, you know, and your struggle may not be addiction. Maybe it's fear, divorce, death, hopelessness, or whatever else. But we have to embrace what is keeping us emotionally bound and learn to free ourselves from it. And that is really the heartbeat of Dope Girl's message, is learning how to live with someone else's choices.
Right. It's so powerful, so powerful. So could you kind of talk to us a little bit more, Kim, about how you embrace it? What are some of the steps that you took to embrace it? Because, you know, you beat the odds.
I did beat the odds. And, I mean, that in itself truly is a miracle because we all understand what, you know, poison does to an addict, let alone a baby in utero that still is forming. So if I was born into addiction, but if there are listeners out there who were born into addiction and still find themselves suffering from it, some of the best advice that I can give you is this. I'll say this, is that I get it. It is a very, very bitter and hurtful place to be. It really is. Because you find yourself a victim of someone else's moral choices, and it seems unfair. And what do you do when you have to live with someone else's choices? My sincere advice is this. I would encourage you to just pray, and pray some more for strength and advice. But allow yourself to feel the weight and the heaviness of those choices, because trust your gut and your instincts to handle them accordingly. We all usually know what the right thing we should do is based on our gut feeling. Trust it. Trust yourself. And then love yourself enough by setting boundaries around how much you can take. You know, even if that means walking away, because your emotional health and your future depend on it. I spent my entire adult life in recovery, trying to regain a sense of normalcy from what drugs that I never even digested into my body. And I used to carry it around, the residue of my mom's addiction around with me everywhere that I went. I was angry at her for the continual decision to choose drugs over me, for her lack of love or her parental responsibility, and for always putting me in positions to have to defend her absence and make excuses for her behavior. All of that was a load too heavy for a child to carry. And it started to manifest itself through, explicit verbal exchanges and distrust for people, a nasty attitude, and a whole host of other inadequacies. But once I faced her addiction as the poison that was really keeping me sick, then and only then was I able to heal.
Powerful, powerful. And the key thing you said some amazing nuggets, but that you had to heal first, right? And you had to forgive and heal.
Right. I had to accept it. First, I had to embrace it, because what I know is one of the hardest things to do is to face yourself. And I had to face the fact that my mom's addiction was making me sick, and it was filtering over into other parts of my life, whether it was relationships I had with family or friends, or even how I parented, because I was coming from a place of lack. And I parented from a place of lack in the sense of maybe lack of discipline, because I wanted to be the mother to them that I didn't have. So that in itself was probably not beneficial to them. Now, of course, we made some adjustments, and we got some rules and some boundaries, and, a whole lot of stuff that goes on. But early on, as a young mom and a new mom trying to figure out what the motherhood journey was all about, I realized that my mom's addiction and her absence was very, very influential in me becoming the mother that I was, because I was trying to be something that I never got.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. And what I want to talk to you about more so too is for the people who are listening that might have, had experienced some type of like addiction or have had a childhood such as yours. A lot of people don't want to look at therapy as a bad thing, but the therapy is good for us. So can you talk about that a little bit more?
About therapy?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I would definitely encourage anybody who finds themselves living in some devastating circumstance where it continues to help keep you bound. It keeps you up at night, or it causes, psychological pain in the sense that you sever relationships, or, you can't necessarily progress to a level of happiness because you're stuck. There is absolutely nothing wrong with seeking therapy, and I know that there is a stigma that's attached to that because we don't want to say that we need help. But it is so vitally important to your growth and your healing, because it's just like going to the doctor, or you see a symptom of something. What happens is we treat the fever and not necessarily the infection, right? But you have to go and truly get healed and treat the infection, because the infection is what's keeping you sick. You're treating the symptom. You're not treating the infection, which is the root cause of why you keep getting sick, because it never goes away. It keeps coming back.
Right.
So I've gone to therapy myself a number of times, and it took me going to therapy to truly understand why I was so sick, because I was displacing that anger and frustration onto other people in other ways, masking it as, oh, you didn't take out the trash, or you were late coming home, or, my coworkers didn't put the project together on time. Those were all excuses and byproducts of why I was really hurting and really angry. And when I came to terms with that, I had to seek treatment, and that alone is what allowed me to understand that I was emotionally sick, and I was there to finally face it and heal it.
So for all of our listeners that are listening, therapy is not a bad thing. Get help. Seek help if you need it. It actually will help you. So,
Absolutely. We have to shed the stigma that comes with that too, because I know predominantly for African American families, we don't like to seek treatment in the form of therapy or mental illness because we think that means that something is wrong with you. But it's no different than seeking treatment for cancer or heart disease or whatever else. It's an ailment, and an ailment has a remedy. And that and mental illness has a remedy, and heartache has a remedy just like any other sickness. So, yes, I highly encourage people to seek treatment. It's truly, truly one of the hardest things to combat on your own without the help of others, because you can't necessarily understand why your behavior has manifested in certain ways unless someone shows you what that means.
So I want to dig a little deeper, Kim, because like I stated earlier, you've built an enterprise, you've done some amazing things, and you beat the odds of some people probably couldn't have made it through some of the things that you went through. So what steps did you take, without telling us everything, because I know they got to buy the book, but what steps did you take to beat the odds and still accomplish the amazing success that you've had? If you would just share one or two strategies with us.
Well, what I would say is to help me beat the odds, I never allow a temporary decision to cause you a permanent setback, because you have to be very intentional about your choices, the company that you keep, and most importantly, never lose sight of your dream. See, no matter how grim the situation looks, people can say we are a product of our environment, but we don't have to be. Because I grew up in a dysfunctional and a very drug-ravaged environment, and it taught me the value of my choices. I was surrounded by people who made temporary decisions that caused permanent setbacks. They never seemed to be able to recover, and I think part of that was remaining in the same environment that caused so much peril in the first place. Sometimes it's necessary to remove yourself so that you allow yourself the freedom to grow in a place that brings promise. Because what I know is this: opportunity can't tell time, and fear is a thief of time. So bet on yourself and change your environment. It may be scary, but my advice to you would be do it afraid. Do it afraid, because your healing and your future is worth it.
I love that. Do it afraid and bet on yourself, and take away the excuses, because you took away the excuses. And it wasn't about how you started. It wasn't about how you grew up. You was determined to come out of that, to be better than what you grew up in, because that wasn't an excuse for you. And I think a lot of people use excuses.
Yes. Yeah. And I could have used it as an excuse, because I could have said, oh, well, my mom, I lack this or I lack that. But I did have other people around me who had my best interest at heart. But even with that, there's nothing like seeing the person who gave you life really slowly take away their own. So instead of using that as an excuse, it was my motivation to do better. I remember as a kid being so engulfed in wanting to help her that I would raid my grandmother's closet, and I would play in a blazer from one of her suits, and I'd dress up in her high heels, even one of her wigs and some lipstick, and I would grab one of her bags, one of her big purses from the top of her closet, stuff it with newspapers, and then I would have this whole scene that I acted out by myself, where I would bust into the door of my bedroom, pretending like I was busting through the door of a courtroom, and I would pretend to be the lawyer that saved my mom. Because in my mind, I was going to be the one who was going to make it right. So my choice was, what I saw around me was motivating me to do just the opposite, to be the hero in the situation and not necessarily the associate. So what I found that helped me cope as a kid was understanding that she may not be able to help herself right now, but when I get old enough, I'm going to be the one to save her. So I allowed my imagination to take me to places where inadequacies didn't exist, and that I could be the one who helped her, even if that never became a reality. But for a very long time, I wanted to be a real-life attorney so that I could help my mom with all of her problems. So what I'll say to you, to anyone out there who feels like they couldn't beat the odds or they've used their situation as an excuse, is that truly, truly nobody can control your destiny but you. And it may seem hard, But you can never get to where you're going without taking the first step. So I would just encourage listeners out there to step out on faith, to bet on yourself, and to do it afraid.
Step out on faith, bet on yourself, and do it afraid. But we know a part of the journey, Kim, you have naysayers, and I'm sure you probably faced some naysayers with you trying to come out of that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
could you talk a little bit more about the naysayers and how you ignored the distractions?
Well, I ignored the distractions, like I said, because kids are really masterful at turning tragedy into triumph. They really are. They're some of the most resilient people that you'll ever see in me. And I was no different as a kid. Because I love to write, I journaled a lot. And I allowed my imagination, like I said before, to take me to a place where inadequacies didn't exist. And though my mom chose to get high with a needle, I chose to get high with a pen and use my words on paper to, express what my feelings were and what I wanted to do. So I'm saying that to say that there's naysayers. I don't care how popular you are, how educated you are, how successful you are. You will never be able to satisfy everybody. But the only person that really matters that you satisfy is yourself and the God that we serve. And as long as if you are doing his will and you stay true to yourself, then that's all that matters. And people will laugh at you and tell you that your dream is crazy or that it is wild or that doesn't make sense. But you don't need them to believe in it. All you need to do is believe in it and take the necessary steps to make that dream come true. And that's it. Because there are going to be naysayers no matter what. You just can't avoid it in this life. But as long as you stay true to yourself, you honor our Father above, and you heed his word, and everything works itself out.
Listeners, you have to get this book. You have to get this powerful book. Kim, your story is so powerful. And before we, because I want to dig a little bit deeper on some more things, but I want you to tell them how they can purchase your book.
Okay, so thank you so much. You can purchase my book by logging into my website. It is kmathis.com. That's KMATHIS.com. Once you get there, you can click on the shop button from the top menu, and then it'll take you to another page. It'll take you to the store. You can click Shop Now, and then select Books from the menu on the left, and it will show up. So thank you so much. KMathis.com.
So for all of our listeners that are listening right now, go get the book right now. This is a powerful book. I mean, just listening to your story right now, Kim, and I haven't even read the book. It had me on the edge of my seat. We got to get this book.
I hope you guys get it, and I hope you guys take advantage of this weekend purchasing it, because all throughout this weekend from now until Sunday, we will be donating a portion of the proceeds back to the Kevin Mathis Foundation so that it allows us to continue our work in the community of affecting families affected by drug addiction and providing scholarships for some very deserving young girls. So purchase the book tonight, tomorrow, or Sunday, and a portion of the proceeds go back to the Kevin Mathis Foundation, and you can find it again at kmathis.com.
I love it. So, Kim, what are some initiatives you plan to take over the next year to continue to build the movement and bring awareness to drug addiction?
Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you asked. So I'm currently constructing a plan to have Dope Girl chapters in cities all over the country where kids can meet and learn about drug addiction from a mental illness aspect and give ideas on how to counsel families that find themselves in a stronghold. It will be important for us to create volunteer opportunities for them so they can see firsthand what addiction does to the whole family, not just the addict. And I'm also looking to partner with drug resource centers who can provide counseling to kids affected by addiction and monthly activities that allow them a safe place to be mentally free and to enjoy being a kid and not having to carry the heartache of addiction with them everywhere that they go. Because even if it is for only a day or a few hours, it feels good to just be a kid and not to have to live in a state of heartache all the time. So look for Dope Girl chapters coming up in cities near you, I'm also working on a Be Dope, Heal Yourself workbook that will be a spinoff to the Dope Girl book that is going to be a healing book where we can work through and help you navigate those things that are keeping you bound and give you tools on how to treat yourself and work through your struggles.
I love it. These are some amazing initiatives. So I just wish you much success on all the great things that you're about to do, because this is an amazing movement. And you have a clothing line that you have created as well. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So I am so excited. When we launched Dope Girl, we also launched a web store. You can find that on kmathis.com too. At the top of the screen, just click on the tab Shop, and it'll take you to the shop. And what is there is a variety of shirts that speak to what a dope girl is. And Dope Girl is really a play on words, because though I was born dope, I was born to win. And I'm saying that to say that you can be dope in life. And when we think about the word dope, we usually think about the word cool or exciting or, very fascinating. So even if you say I was born dope, then I was born to win. I was born fascinating. I was born amazing. I was born with all of this awesomeness. So you can go to the website and get Born Dope shirts. We also have shirts that say Be Dope and Live, Love, and Laugh Your Truth, because as we wear, I know there's power in words. So when we wear something on our chest that says Born Dope, it just reminds us every day that I was born to win. And despite my inadequacies and everything that I've been through, I am dope, and I am going to do dope things.
So go purchase your shirt. Go visit her website, her clothing line. Kim, you are doing some amazing stuff. Amazing. Congratulations on your clothing line as well.
Thank you so much. I am so excited about it. I am so excited about it because it's just a little token that helps people understand that I am dope and I'm a dope girl too. And we're going to it's a dope girl movement. So it'll be in chapters all around the country.
I love it. And you're also the vice president of your husband's foundation. Please tell us more about your amazing nonprofit and how we can support and get involved with the Kevin Mathis Foundation.
Well, the Kevin Mathis Foundation and Dope Girl Enterprises has just presented its first annual Dope Girl Scholarship. This scholarship will be awarded to a deserving female high school student in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex who continues to excel in the face of adversity. This is a girl who shines in the classroom, on the sports field, or in her community despite strenuous life challenges, living conditions, or even financial strain. So a dope girl is somebody who lives in a place where reality, resilience, and redemption are a big part of her character. She carries herself in a positive light, that her struggles are really invisible to the general public. So the recipient will receive a $500 cash prize to continue in her educational efforts, and a Dope Girl basket filled with lots of dope items like T-shirts we just named, some pads and pens for school, cups, mugs, and bags, all different kinds of items. And people can donate to that as well. You can go to Roses for Rose on my website and make a donation there, and all of those proceeds as well will go to fund the 2 scholarships that we will be giving out for dope girls across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
I just want to commend you for reaching back and pulling forward. This is amazing. Dope Girl Enterprise, this is amazing. So for all of our listeners that are in the Texas area, in the Dallas, Texas area, definitely get involved with the foundation. Apply for if you know anybody that can apply for the scholarship. And Kim is looking for partners as well. So definitely get involved.
Yes. So if you go to the website again, kmathis.com, you can click on the icon at the top, Dope Girl Scholarship, and submit some nominations from some amazing young ladies in the area. And we will put a panel of esteemed judges together to help us choose some of the dopest young girls in the city. And our goal is to present it to them on a stage at their school in front of the whole student body so they can be recognized for their efforts, so that they know that you don't know who's watching, that there's always somebody willing to invest in your future.
Yes, it is. Love that. So I ask all of my guests this question, Kim, and I know you pretty much have built an amazing empire. So how did you create your seat at the table?
How did I create my seat at the table? I created my seat at the table by making the conscious decision that I wanted to be free, because healing was a choice. Though my mom did apologize to me for all of the perils that she caused, it felt empty and too late, because by that time, bitterness and anger had become my closest allies. But when I finally let go and stopped allowing myself to be a slave to the proverbial mental prison that her addiction had caused me, then my soul just exhaled a long breath. Because it's true, forgiveness is more for you than for them. And in case you hadn't heard it before, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, meanwhile killing yourself. And because most of us have had to drink enough toxic potions from the heartache and weight of somebody else's choices, be not intentional on mixing up your own cocktail. So the way I created my seat at the table was literally by healing myself, by making the conscious decision that I wanted to be free. And the person that we hide on the inside, that we're ashamed of, see, that's the person that God is trying to get to. Once we heal that person, then we start to heal everything. And that is how I created my seat at the table. It became a conscious, again, like we talked about choices earlier, and what living in a drug-ravaged, impoverished environment taught me. It taught me the value of my choices, but so did creating my seat at the table. It taught me the value of my choices, and I had to make a conscious decision that healing was a choice.
Healing was a choice. The value of your choices. Yes, so powerful. So I know you've had many successes and failures throughout your journey. So would you please give us an example of one of your failures and how it has impacted you on your process of your journey of where you are today?
Well, I wouldn't call it failure. I'll call it adversity.
Okay.
What happened was I attempted to write this book twice over the last decade. And despite my passion to write this book and to tell this story for the purposes of my own healing and the healing of those who found themselves in similar situations, it just wasn't working out. And I realized that it just wasn't the right time. But it taught me resilience, and that I was really the only one who could control my future. And that once I decided to not allow that dream to go to the wayside, but to take the first step towards it, then God was just waiting to meet me at the crossroads, just waiting to meet me at the first step. And my mom's addiction didn't have to keep bullying me through life. I had to embrace that, and there was nothing harder than that. But my failure of not able to write this book the first couple of times, because it was twice, the first couple of times, taught me that though I wanted something at that particular time, it just wasn't the right time. But if I wanted bad enough, then I would bet on myself and do it afraid. And that's exactly what I did. I bet on myself, and despite what the naysayers were going to say, in spite what backlash may have come from it, this wasn't about anybody else but me and my healing, and healing those who found themselves in the stronghold of drugs. Because what I have learned is that failure is one of those obstacles that we go through that is not just for us, but it's for other people to gain strength from our scars as well. And so my failure wasn't just for me, but it was for somebody else to find healing through what I went through. So once I bet on myself and did it afraid, then I could help other people try to achieve their goals and live the life that they deserve as well.
And I just want to commend you for being vulnerable and telling your story, because we all have a story inside of us, and it's so important that we share our stories, because you never know whose life you're going to save or change.
Right. That's exactly right. You just never know what life is going to save or change, because so many times people suffer in silence. And again, we know that everything that we go through is not just for us, but it's so that somebody else can heal from our scars. So it is my absolute responsibility to help others shed the shame and the fear, because though I was born addicted, it is now my job to help others live a life that they can be addicted to. And with that being said, that means shedding fear, that means shedding shame, and embracing that thing that keeps you up at night, the things that still keeps you bound. Because until you do that, you'll never achieve the level of mental freedom that you deserve. But you have to embrace it. Again, it's like treating the fever and not the infection. And we have to get to the core of what it is. But because I was born addicted, it is now my absolute responsibility to help others live a life that they can be addicted to.
Well, I just want to thank you for embracing the pain and turning your pain into purpose and not giving up, because if you would have gave up, you wouldn't be where you are today. And that's why for somebody that's going through the storm right now, don't give up, because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's it. That's right. It is. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. We may never see it, and it doesn't feel like it's attainable. But like I said before, you take one step towards him, he'll take several steps towards you, and it all comes with doing it afraid. No matter how scared you are or how grim the situation may look, just know, take a bet on yourself and do it afraid. Because like I said before, opportunity can't tell time, and fear is a thief of time.
So bet on yourself and do it afraid. Phenomenal interview, Kim. And I would love for you to tell our listeners one more time how they can follow you on all social media platforms.
Okay, thank you so much. You can follow me on Facebook at Kimberly Curlee Mathis. That's Kimberly Curlee, Curlee, Mathis on Facebook. I also have a public figure page that is Kimberly with middle initial D as in Desiree Mathis on Facebook, and on Instagram it is Kimberly_D_Mathis on Instagram. And please log on to kmathis.com so that you can purchase the book, support the Kevin Mathis Foundation and the Dope Girl Scholarship, and all the other initiatives that we have coming up.
So please follow and support Kim. She's amazing, listeners. So please follow her. You are welcome.
If I can leave the listeners with this, I will tell you guys three things. Live your truth, do it afraid, and be dope. You take nothing else away. Do it afraid. Do it afraid and be dope.
I love that. So, Kim, I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table today. You had a phenomenal interview. I just want everybody to go purchase the book, and I can't wait to invite you back.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashley. I've had a great time. I appreciate the opportunity, and I wish you much success on your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore and my intern Sarah from Tennessee State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.